We're going to continue with path traversal or directory traversal vulnerabilities, which again fall under the broken access control vulnerabilities. I am spending a lot of time on this and I am showing you a lot of examples because these vulnerabilities are very, very common. Therefore, when you're pen testing or bug hunting, your chances of discovering them is very, very high. So I'm going to show you another example where in a real life scenario, you might think the target is not vulnerable because if you try the exploits that we showed earlier, they're not going to work because the target is using some kind of filtering. It is a little bit more restrictive, but you'll see how we're going to manage to load paths beyond our limits and exploit the vulnerability. So the target website looks very similar to the ones we've seen before. Again, we're going to load a product and I should turn on my interceptor and load it again. And we're going to let this one go. And the next one is the vulnerable one, sending it to the repeater. So it's identical pretty much to the ones that we've seen before. That's why I'm going through it fast. Again, if we send this, render it, you get the image. And then if we get another image, I'm not even going to try to get a link for another image. I'm going to guess a name of another image. And as you can see, we are able to load other images on the same server. Therefore, that to me will tell me, okay, I should spend more time on this and see if I can discover bugs and vulnerabilities. Now, if we go and try the basic one that we tried earlier, so it's etc password, it's not going to work, as you can see. And then if we try to go back also as many times as we want, and send it, it's still not gonna work. So at this stage, you might think that the target is not vulnerable and move on, but there is still so much that you should try. And I'm actually gonna include a cheat sheet for things that you could try. And I'm gonna show you at the end a tip for pros, or if you have a pro that you could use, but everything we're doing manually now works with the community version anyway. And basically what we're trying to do now, we're trying to load etc password and it's not loading. And we're thinking maybe there's some filtering, maybe there is some restriction in there that is preventing us from loading this file. Now going back to the original request that was being sent, you can see that it's asking for an image that ends with a .jpg. And in the repeater, when we asked for an image before, we were able to load other images. But for some reason, when we're loading files, we're not able to load files. So that tells me maybe the target web application is expecting whatever I load in here to be an image, not a file. So the problem is if I do .jpg in here, there is no such file that is called etc password.jpg. So that's no good to me, but that will pass the filter if that was the case. So what I can do, I can use a null byte. So %00 is a null byte. It translates to a null byte, and you will know this if you've done any C programming. And basically that will terminate this string or this array of characters. So when the filter reads this, it's going to read the full text and it's going to check if it ends with a .jpg and it will pass it. But then when it actually gets executed and processed, the processing will terminate when it reads a null byte, the %00. Therefore, it doesn't matter what we typed after it. It's actually going to go ahead and load the file that exists in this directory. So you can think of this similar to when we add a comment to SQL injections and other vulnerabilities when we want to tell the server to ignore everything that comes after our payload. So let me show it to you in real life. We're just going to do %00 and we're going to send it. Go to the raw. And perfect. As you can see, we are able to load the etc password. And again, in a bug bounty hunt, this is enough to display impact. So all you have to do is simply include this in your report and you should be awarded a bounty.